Have you ever wondered if there's a place on earth so sacred, so untouched, that it bridges the gap between the physical and the divine? A place that has stood as a testament to humanity's deepest spiritual yearnings for thousands of years. Mount Kailash, nestled in the remote reaches of the Tibetan plateau, is not just a mountain. It's a profound symbol, a timeless beacon for spiritual seekers, and a revered sanctuary across cultures and religions. For centuries, this majestic peak has captivated the hearts of Buddhists, Hindus, Jains, and Bon practitioners alike. Rising over 6,600 meters into the heavens, Mount Kailash has never been climbed, not because it's impossible, but because it's unthinkable. To set foot on its summit would be to desecrate a holy ground, a place believed to house the very essence of the universe. In Tibetan Buddhism, it's considered the dwelling of Demchok, a wrathful yet compassionate deity who embodies the ultimate bliss of enlightenment. For the Bon tradition, it's the axis mundi, the world's spiritual center where heaven meets earth. But this is not just a story of myths and beliefs. Mount Kailash is a living, breathing guardian of Tibetan history. It has witnessed countless pilgrims, their prayers carried on the icy winds, their hopes and fears left behind with each circumambulation. These pilgrimages are no ordinary journeys. The devout walk the 52 kilometers around its base, some prostrating with every step, in search of purification and liberation. The kora, as it's called, is not just a physical challenge, but a spiritual rebirth, echoing the eternal cycles of life and death. What is it about this mountain that commands such reverence? Perhaps it's the way it rises in perfect symmetry, untouched by time, its snow-clad peak glistening like a crown of the gods. Or perhaps it's the energy pilgrims swear they feel, a vibration of something far greater than themselves. Stories abound of miraculous healings, of visions that change lives, and of a profound peace that transcends understanding. For the people of Tibet, Mount Kailash is not just a place, it's a teacher, a reminder of the impermanence of life, and a call to look inward. In its shadow, history whispers through every prayer flag fluttering in the wind, every stone piled in offering, and every pilgrim's breath heavy with devotion. In a world that often prioritizes conquest and ownership, Mount Kailash remains unconquered. Its mystery, its sanctity, and its unyielding presence challenge us to rethink what it means to truly respect something beyond ourselves. It's not about climbing higher or reaching the summit. It's about the journey within. So, what secrets does Mount Kailash guard? Perhaps it's not for us to know, but to feel, to honor, and to learn from. As the Buddhists say, enlightenment is not about reaching a destination, but awakening to the truth that's already within us. Mount Kailash stands as a symbol of that truth, untouched, eternal, and profoundly sacred. Mount Kailash, rising majestically on the Tibetan plateau, is no ordinary mountain. It's a symbol of cosmic harmony, a sacred axis where heaven and earth meet, and a revered centerpiece of Tibetan Buddhism and Hinduism. For millennia, its sheer presence has inspired awe, devotion, and a deep sense of wonder. Legends say that this mountain is not just a geographical marvel, but a spiritual epicenter, home to the wrathful deity Demchok, a manifestation of ultimate bliss and enlightenment in Buddhism. The stories surrounding Mount Kailash are woven into the very fabric of Tibetan history. They are not mere tales, but living traditions that continue to guide spiritual seekers, offering a path toward awakening. Demchok, the deity believed to reside here, embodies compassion and wisdom, representing the triumph of inner transformation. For those who stand in its shadow, the mountain feels alive, a silent observer of humanity's struggles, dreams, and spiritual journeys. This sacred peak is not meant to be conquered. No human has ever set foot on its summit, not because of physical limitations, but out of profound reverence. To ascend its slopes would be to disturb its divine sanctity, a line no pilgrim dares to cross. Instead, pilgrims undertake the kora, a grueling 52-kilometer circumambulation of its base, a journey steeped in devotion. For Tibetan Buddhists, every step of the kora is an act of surrender, a prayer for purification, and a chance to break free from the cycles of suffering. The legends surrounding Mount Kailash are as vast and profound as the mountain itself. They speak of saints and sages who meditated in its caves, seeking enlightenment under its gaze. Tibetan history is rich with these stories, where the mountain stands not just as a backdrop, but as a participant in humanity's spiritual evolution. Milarepa, Tibet's great yogi, is said to have defeated a Bon shaman in a contest of miraculous powers here, affirming the mountain's role as a spiritual battleground where light triumphs over darkness. But beyond the myths and legends lies a question. How did these stories shape the spiritual identity of Tibet? The answer can be felt in the way the people of Tibet live, with a sense of devotion, humility, and interconnectedness that echoes the mountain's teachings. Mount Kailash is more than a sacred site. It's a teacher, a reminder of life's impermanence, and a guide to the truths that lie within. For those fortunate enough to witness its towering presence, the experience is transformative. Pilgrims often speak of an unexplainable energy, a sense of peace that transcends words. It is said that just one journey around Mount Kailash can erase the sins of a lifetime, and 108 circumambulations can lead to ultimate liberation. These beliefs are not just rooted in faith but in the lived experiences of countless generations who found solace and clarity in its shadow. In Tibetan history, Mount Kailash is more than a mountain. It is a reflection of the soul's journey. Its snow-clad peak, untouched by human ambition, reminds us of the power of humility and the need to honor what is sacred. It challenges us to look inward, to find meaning not in conquest but in connection, and to understand that the greatest journeys are the ones that lead to self-discovery. Mount Kailash stands eternal, a silent guardian of wisdom, a beacon of hope, and a symbol of humanity's eternal quest for enlightenment. In its presence, history, myth, and spirituality converge, leaving us with one undeniable truth. Some mysteries are meant to be revered, not unraveled. For centuries, pilgrims from every corner of the world have ventured to Mount Kailash to undertake the sacred kora, a journey of circumambulation around the mountain that is as demanding as it is transformative. This ritual, deeply rooted in Tibetan history and Buddhism, is believed to cleanse the soul of sins and unravel the chains of karma that bind us to the cycle of suffering. But the kora is far more than just a physical trek. It is a spiritual odyssey that transcends the limits of the body, mind, and heart. The pilgrimage begins at Darshan, a small settlement that serves as the gateway to this holy path. From the moment pilgrims step onto the trail, they are enveloped by an atmosphere thick with devotion and prayer. Many carry prayer beads or prayer wheels, spinning them as they chant mantras like Om Mani Padme Hum, the universal mantra of compassion. Each step taken around Mount Kailash is considered a prayer, an offering, a moment of surrender to something far greater than oneself. The kora stretches for 52 kilometers, winding through rugged terrain, high-altitude passes, and sacred landmarks. Pilgrims cross the daunting Drolma La Pass, which rises over 5,600 meters above sea level. It is here, at the highest point of the journey, that many feel an indescribable connection to the divine. The pass is marked by a mound of prayer flags fluttering in the wind, carrying the hopes and prayers of countless souls into the heavens. Pilgrims leave behind small tokens, stones, clothing, or hair, symbolizing the release of burdens, both physical and spiritual. This journey is not undertaken lightly. The high altitude and harsh conditions test even the most seasoned travelers. Yet it is said that the physical struggle mirrors the inner work required to attain spiritual clarity. Many pilgrims recount moments of epiphany, visions of light, a profound sense of interconnectedness, or a sudden realization of life's impermanence. Some describe feeling as though time stands still, as if they are walking in the presence of eternity. Central to the kora is the practice of prostration. While most walk the trail, the most devout pilgrims prostrate themselves every step of the way, lying flat on the ground before rising and repeating the act. This form of devotion, though physically grueling, is said to bring immense spiritual rewards. Each prostration is a gesture of humility, an acknowledgement of the sacredness of the journey, and a surrender of the ego. The rituals performed along the kora are steeped in Tibetan Buddhist traditions. Pilgrims stop to pray at sacred sites like the Chorten Kangyi, a two-legged stupa, and the serene shores of Lake Manasarovar, said to mirror the heavens themselves. Here they light butter lamps, make offerings, and recite prayers for loved ones, for the world, and for liberation from suffering. The air is filled with the sound of chants and the rhythm of footsteps, a symphony of faith echoing through the mountains. Why does this sacred act stir such profound experiences? Perhaps it's the combination of physical exhaustion, spiritual focus, and the unshakable belief in the transformative power of the mountain. Perhaps it's the sacred energy of Mount Kailash itself, a place untouched by human ambition, resonating with the prayers of countless generations. Or perhaps it's the realization that the kora, like life itself, is not about the destination but the journey, the moments of surrender, connection, and awakening along the way. For those who complete the kora, the experience is life-changing. It's said that a single circumambulation can cleanse the sins of a lifetime, while 108 circuits can lead to ultimate liberation. Yet, the true gift of the kora is not measured in numbers, but in the quiet transformations it inspires within each pilgrim. Mount Kailash stands eternal, a silent witness to the devotion of those who walk its sacred path. In the act of circumambulation, history, faith, and the human spirit converge, reminding us that true enlightenment lies not in reaching the summit but in finding peace within ourselves. Mount Kailash is far more than a majestic peak on the Tibetan plateau. It is the soul of Tibetan identity, a sacred landmark that has shaped the very essence of Tibetan history and culture. Rising with an air of timeless grandeur, this mountain has silently observed the rise and fall of dynasties, the flourishing of Buddhism, and the preservation of traditions that have endured for centuries. To truly understand the history of Tibet is to explore the profound legacy of Mount Kailash. In Tibetan Buddhism, Mount Kailash is revered as the home of Demchok, the deity representing ultimate bliss and enlightenment. Its snow-capped peak has long been seen as a manifestation of purity and spiritual power. This reverence has influenced not only the religious life of Tibet, but also its governance, art, and cultural practices. Kings and rulers have drawn on its spiritual significance to legitimize their authority, intertwining the sacred with the secular to establish a profound connection between their rule and the divine. During the reign of Songtsen Gampo, one of Tibet's most celebrated kings, Buddhism began to take root as a unifying force in the region. The sacred aura of Mount Kailash played a crucial role in this transformation. It was not just a geographical landmark, but a symbol of the spiritual foundation upon which the kingdom was built. Monasteries and temples were established along the pilgrimage routes leading to the mountain, creating a network of sacred spaces that nurtured spiritual learning and practice. The mountain became a beacon for monks, scholars, and seekers who carried its teachings to distant lands. The influence of Mount Kailash is also etched into Tibetan art and literature. Thangka paintings, rich with intricate detail and vibrant colors, often depict the mountain as a focal point of cosmic harmony. These works of art are not just decorative, but serve as tools for meditation and storytelling, conveying the spiritual significance of Mount Kailash to future generations. Similarly, Tibetan epics and folktales are steeped in references to the mountain, portraying it as a living entity that watches over the people, guiding them through trials and triumphs. Pilgrims from across Asia have traveled to Mount Kailash for centuries, leaving behind records that reflect its central role in Tibetan history. These chronicles, written by travelers and monks, tell of a land where the physical and spiritual worlds merge. They describe rituals performed in the shadow of the mountain, the chants of prayers carried on the wind, and the profound sense of connection felt by those who undertake the sacred journey. Mount Kailash has also borne witness to Tibet's struggles and resilience. As political and cultural shifts swept through the region, the mountain remained a steadfast symbol of continuity and hope. During times of turmoil, it served as a refuge for those seeking solace, its presence reminding the people of their enduring spiritual heritage. Even today, the legacy of Mount Kailash continues to shape Tibetan life. It is a source of inspiration for those who seek enlightenment, a symbol of unity for a diverse and vibrant culture, and a reminder of the deep connection between humanity and the natural world. Its impact is not confined to the past. It resonates in the present, influencing the way Tibetans see themselves and their place in the universe. So how did this mountain shape a civilization? The answer lies in its ability to transcend the ordinary, becoming a cornerstone of faith, governance, and identity. Mount Kailash stands as a silent witness to the unfolding of Tibetan history, a sacred presence that continues to guide and inspire. Its legacy is not just in the chronicles of kings and monks but in the hearts of all who revere it, as a symbol of the divine. Mount Kailash stands as a beacon of unity in a world often divided by belief. This extraordinary mountain, rising high on the Tibetan plateau, holds a unique position in human history. It is not confined to a single faith. It is revered by Buddhists, Hindus, Jains, and followers of the ancient Bon tradition, each viewing it through their own spiritual lens. And yet, all these traditions converge on one undeniable truth. Mount Kailash is a place of unparalleled sanctity, a bridge between the divine and the earthly. For Tibetan Buddhists, Mount Kailash is the home of Demchok, the deity embodying ultimate bliss and enlightenment. It is a focal point of spiritual practice, a symbol of the journey toward liberation. Hindus see it as Mount Meru, the axis mundi, where Lord Shiva meditates in eternal stillness. Jains honor it as the site where their first Tirthankara, Rishabhadeva, attained liberation. For the Bon tradition, it is the seat of the sky goddess Sipaiman, representing the cosmic balance of creation and destruction. Each tradition brings its own narratives, rituals, and symbolism, yet they all recognize the mountain as sacred ground. This interfaith reverence is a testament to the universal human quest for meaning, connection, and transcendence. Pilgrims from different religions walk the same path, perform their rituals side by side, and bow their heads in awe before the same mountain. Their chants may differ, their prayers may vary, but their reverence for Mount Kailash unites them in a way that transcends words. What lessons can we draw from this convergence? In a world often fractured by ideological divides, Mount Kailash offers a powerful reminder. Our shared humanity is greater than our differences. The mountain's enduring sanctity teaches us that while the paths we walk may vary, the ultimate destination, connection with the divine, with ourselves, and with the world around us, is universal. The rituals performed at Mount Kailash reflect this unity in diversity. Pilgrims walk the kora, circumambulating the mountain in prayer and meditation. For Buddhists, this act symbolizes the cycles of life and rebirth, a path toward breaking free from suffering. Hindus see it as an offering of devotion to Shiva, while Jains and Bon practitioners view it as a journey toward purification and balance. Each step on the sacred trail is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all life, a call to humility and compassion. This shared reverence has also shaped the history of Tibet. Mount Kailash has been a crossroads for cultures, a place where ideas, art, and spirituality from different traditions have mingled and flourished. The mountain's influence can be seen in the intricate Thangka paintings of Tibetan Buddhism, the hymns and scriptures of Hindu pilgrims, and the oral traditions of the Bon people. It is a living mosaic of faith, a symbol of harmony that continues to inspire. Perhaps the greatest lesson Mount Kailash offers is the power of respect. Respect for the sacred, respect for different perspectives, and respect for the shared mysteries that bind us as humans. In its shadow, pilgrims from all walks of life find a sense of peace, a connection to something larger than themselves. The mountain does not belong to one faith or one people. It belongs to everyone who seeks to honor its sanctity. Mount Kailash challenges us to rise above division and see the world through a broader lens. It reminds us that our stories, though unique, are threads in the same tapestry. Its silent presence, enduring through time, calls us to walk our paths with openness, humility, and a recognition of the divine in one another. In a world that often focuses on what separates us, Mount Kailash stands as a timeless symbol of what unites us: the search for meaning, the longing for connection, and the reverence for the sacred. It is a lesson in harmony, a reminder that even amid diversity, we can find unity. Mount Kailash, with its awe-inspiring symmetry and unyielding presence, is more than a mountain. It is a realm of mysteries that have baffled and enchanted humanity for centuries. Rising like a perfect pyramid from the Tibetan plateau, its unique shape has sparked endless speculation, blending spiritual reverence with scientific curiosity. From its snow-clad peaks to the countless tales whispered by travelers, Mount Kailash seems to defy explanation. Is it merely a natural wonder, or is there something extraordinary at play? Pilgrims and adventurers alike often recount experiences that border on the mystical. Many report feeling an intense, almost otherworldly energy as they approach the mountain. Some describe vivid visions, profound emotional clarity, or moments of deep spiritual connection. Others claim to have experienced phenomena that challenge the laws of time, days feeling like minutes or a peculiar sense of timelessness as they walk the sacred kora. These stories, passed down through generations, add to the mountain's enigmatic allure. Scientists and skeptics have tried to demystify these accounts. Some suggest that the mountain's unusual magnetic fields could influence human perception, creating sensations of heightened awareness or altered time perception. Others point to the psychological effects of extreme altitude, physical exertion, and the power of suggestion, which can amplify emotions and create vivid experiences. While these theories provide plausible explanations, they fail to capture the profound impact Mount Kailash has on those who journey there. In Tibetan Buddhism, these experiences are not anomalies but affirmations of the mountain's sacred power. Mount Kailash is believed to be the physical manifestation of Mount Meru, the axis mundi that connects heaven and earth. This spiritual significance resonates deeply with those who make the pilgrimage, opening them to profound transformations. The kora itself is seen as a path of purification, where the barriers between the physical and spiritual realms grow thin, allowing glimpses of something greater. Adding to the mystique are the mountain's perfectly symmetrical slopes and the unbroken snow that crowns its peak. Many believe this perfection is no coincidence but a divine design, a marker of its unique spiritual role. Geologists explain the mountain's shape through natural processes, yet even they admit it is an anomaly, an almost impossible creation of time, erosion, and tectonic activity. Its pristine condition, untouched by human hands, only deepens its aura of mystery. The convergence of faith and science around Mount Kailash creates a fascinating dialogue. While science seeks to explain, faith invites us to embrace the unknown. Perhaps the true mystery lies not in finding answers, but in the way Mount Kailash challenges us to see beyond the tangible. It pushes the boundaries of what we consider possible, urging us to explore not only the outer world but the inner one as well. For Tibetans, these mysteries are not puzzles to solve but truths to honor. They see Mount Kailash as a sacred teacher, offering lessons in humility, devotion, and the infinite complexity of existence. Its energy is not something to measure but something to experience, a force that reminds us of the interconnectedness of all life. Could these accounts of energy, visions, and time distortion be mere coincidences? Or is Mount Kailash a gateway to something beyond our comprehension? The answer may depend on how we choose to approach it. Whether through the lens of faith or science, the mountain offers the same challenge: to open our minds to the extraordinary, to accept that some mysteries are meant to be felt rather than solved. In the end, Mount Kailash remains what it has always been, a sacred enigma. It stands as a symbol of the eternal dance between the known and the unknown, a place where faith and science meet in quiet reverence. Its mysteries, like its peaks, rise beyond our grasp, inviting us to wonder and to dream. Standing before Mount Kailash, one feels an overwhelming sense of humility. Its sheer grandeur, rising in silent majesty above the Tibetan plateau, is a timeless reminder of the enduring power of nature and the mysteries of existence. For millennia, this sacred mountain has been a sanctuary for spiritual seekers, a place where the physical and metaphysical meet. But beyond its role in history and tradition, Mount Kailash carries a message that resonates deeply in today's rapidly changing world. In Tibetan Buddhism, Mount Kailash is not just a geographical marvel, it is a spiritual guide. Its unchanging presence reminds us of impermanence and the delicate balance of life. For those who undertake the kora, walking in devotion around its base, the mountain symbolizes the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Today, in a world increasingly disconnected from nature and spirituality, this sacred symbolism holds profound relevance. As we face unprecedented environmental challenges, Mount Kailash stands as a call to reflect on our relationship with the natural world. Its untouched beauty reminds us of the fragile balance that sustains life on Earth. Protecting such sacred sites is not just about preserving their spiritual significance, it is also about safeguarding the ecosystems they represent. Mount Kailash is part of a vast network of glaciers, rivers, and ecosystems that support millions of lives. Its sanctity extends beyond faith, encompassing the very essence of sustainability and coexistence. In Tibetan history, Mount Kailash has always been a symbol of interconnectedness. It has witnessed countless pilgrims from different cultures and faiths, all drawn by a shared sense of reverence. This interconnectedness is a lesson for our modern world, a reminder that despite our differences, we are all bound by the same threads of life. In honoring Mount Kailash, we honor the idea that unity is found in diversity, that our collective survival depends on mutual respect and understanding. But how can we honor the legacy of Mount Kailash in today's world? The first step is awareness. Recognizing the mountain as a symbol of spiritual grounding and environmental harmony can inspire us to reevaluate our priorities. It urges us to slow down, to reconnect with the natural rhythms of the earth, and to cultivate a sense of gratitude for what sustains us. In our pursuit of progress, we must not lose sight of the wisdom found in stillness. The second step is action. Preserving sacred sites like Mount Kailash requires collective effort. This means supporting conservation initiatives, respecting cultural and religious traditions, and promoting sustainable practices that protect these fragile environments. It means listening to the voices of those who have lived in harmony with the land for centuries, drawing on their knowledge to create a more balanced future. Finally, honoring Mount Kailash means embracing its spiritual teachings in our daily lives. It invites us to look inward, to seek a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. The mountain teaches us that true progress is not measured by what we conquer, but by what we preserve. The relationships we nurture, the compassion we show, and the wisdom we pass on. In a world driven by rapid change, Mount Kailash stands as a timeless teacher. It reminds us to pause, to reflect, and to realign our values with the greater good. Its legacy is not just a story of the past. It is a guide for the present and a beacon for the future. Let us honor Mount Kailash by living with intention, by caring for the world as deeply as it cares for us, and by remembering that we are all connected, not only to each other but to the sacred rhythms of life. In its silent majesty, the mountain calls us to rise above division and distraction, and to walk the path of unity, reverence, and hope. Mount Kailash stands as more than just a mountain. It is a living testament to the sacred, the mysterious, and the transcendent. Its story is one that weaves together the threads of resilience, reverence, and the unyielding human spirit in its search for the divine. From its snow-capped peak to its untraveled summit, Mount Kailash is a symbol that has captivated the hearts of seekers, scholars, and pilgrims for millennia. As we reflect on this sacred mountain, it becomes clear that its significance transcends mere geography. For Tibetan Buddhists, it is the seat of Demchok, the deity embodying supreme bliss and enlightenment. For Hindus, it is Mount Meru, the cosmic axis of creation. Jains and Bon practitioners each see it as a gateway to liberation, a place where the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is lifted. These traditions may differ in their beliefs, but all converge in their recognition of Mount Kailash as a sacred and transformative presence. Mount Kailash is also a silent witness to Tibetan history, standing firm through the passage of time. It has seen the spread of Buddhism, the rise and fall of kingdoms, and the preservation of ancient traditions that remain alive today. It has inspired art, literature, and spiritual practices that continue to shape the identity of Tibet and its people. To study Mount Kailash is to delve into the heart of Tibetan culture, to uncover stories of devotion, resilience, and unity. But this mountain's significance is not confined to the past. Its relevance echoes into our present and future. In an age where the pace of life often disconnects us from our roots, Mount Kailash reminds us of the importance of stillness, reflection, and spiritual grounding. It challenges us to honor the sacred in all aspects of life, not just in places of worship, but in the natural world, in our communities, and within ourselves. Mount Kailash is also a mirror, reflecting our deepest aspirations and fears. For some, it represents the ultimate spiritual journey, a path to enlightenment. For others, it is a symbol of the unknown, a place where questions linger and mysteries remain. Whatever it means to you, its story resonates because it speaks to something universal: the longing for connection, the search for meaning, and the desire to transcend the ordinary. As we conclude this journey, let us carry the lessons of Mount Kailash with us. Let us remember that the sacred is not something distant or unattainable. It is found in the way we live, in the respect we show for the earth, and in the compassion we extend to one another. Let us honor the mountain's legacy by striving for balance, humility, and unity in our lives. Mount Kailash may be shrouded in mystery, but its message is clear. It calls us to rise above division, to embrace the interconnectedness of all things, and to seek the divine not just in distant peaks but within ourselves. Whether you are a pilgrim, a historian, or a lover of the natural world, its significance will linger in your heart, a quiet reminder of what it means to be truly alive. So, as we part ways, let us take one final moment to reflect on the timeless power of Mount Kailash. It is not just a mountain. It is a guide, a teacher, and a symbol of hope. Its story is not just one of the past but of the present and the future, waiting to inspire all who seek its wisdom.